Okay. Hey everybody, I am back. This is Key Marie. I'm back for another video. This is pretty much a recap of Insecure, the HBO show. And thank you guys for the ones who have watched my first ever TV review of Insecure from last week. This week is season 4, episode 10. It's the finale, and it's the title is Low-Key Lost. So if you notice, everything was low-key something within the whole season, which Issa always does this. But yeah, so it's Low-Key Lost, and this was the finale, and oh my goodness, like, yeah. So some of the things that I predicted in the last episode pretty much happened in this episode. So I'm gonna get right into it. To be honest, even though this was the season finale, I'm just gonna be honest, I thought it could have been better. It wasn't bad. It was a lot of information that was covered and a lot of things happened. I'm outside, you guys, and these flies are bothering me, but I just felt like, I don't know, I wanted more. The 10 episodes are gone, and now we have to wait until they film for the next season, which, you know, that takes forever, and especially because of COVID-19 and everybody quarantined. Then I'm sure for the production and stuff like that, for them to film, is probably gonna take a while. So anyway, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Basically, the episode opens up with Issa and Lawrence. They're kind of like at a food market, like fruit and vegetable market, and it's outside. And so Issa's, you know, asking about an item. Then Lawrence walks up, and he's looking kind of like, yeah. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, I got the job. And Issa, okay, good, I'm so happy for you. And she was just like, just excited that he got the position in San Francisco. So he, you know, they was just doing a little small talk, and so he asked her, like, you know, well, Lawrence was telling her about, you know, like, yeah, I got my own team, I got my own corner office, I even got my own assistant, and they're gonna pay me location allowance to move there. So she's like, you know, I'm so happy. So he was looking kind of like he wanted to say something, like something was on his mind, and he pretty much asked her, you know, like, is this a deal breaker, like, you know, with us? And she said, you know, no, like, yeah, you know, it's just a 45-minute flight from here to San Fran, to where he's gonna be at. So she's just like, you know, I can do that. And also, who knows, like, she was considering maybe even moving there. And he was like, what? You know, you just started your business up and stuff like that, and what about your friends, your family? And she was like, you know, at this point, I need new friends anyways. And she's trying to refer back to Molly, because her and Molly are no longer friends or talking. So so she just pretty much told him, like, I really want to be around whatever makes me happy. And that's Lawrence, so she wants to be around him. And so she's willing to make that move for him. So anyways, then we get into Molly and Andrew. I'm trying to make this short because, I mean, it was a lot, but, you know. So we get to Molly and Andrew. They're like a work event, which is Molly's work event. And so they're like, you know, trying to guess who one of Molly's co-workers is. Well, Andrew was. So they're playing around and stuff like that. And then one of her other co-workers, one of the new employees from the law firm, came up, and she introduced him and Andrew. And so Andrew asked him, how did he like it so far? And he was like, you know, it's better than working, you know, it's better than his last position. And then the guy invites them to go to hang out after this work event. And Molly and Andrew kind of answered at the same time, but the thing is, Andrew said, like, pretty much was saying no, he'll pass, and then Molly was like, yeah, like, it's a good idea. So so he was like, well, you know, you guys just let me know. So then, you know, Molly turns to Andrew and just like, you know, what's going on? And pretty much he was like, you know, he didn't really want to do it, and she was like, you know, he just wasn't feeling it. And then she was like, you know, trying to convince him, saying like, you know, maybe if we go, you know, maybe I can tell the DJ to play one of your artists, so then it could be a work event for you, you know, like that, and she'll, you know, make it worth his while or whatever. So so he just like, okay, whatever. But you can tell, like, Andrew was like, I'm not really feeling this, like, I don't really want to be here, you know. So he goes along with it, as he always does. He goes along with whatever Molly wants to do. So they get home from the event, and Andrew tells her, like, you know, the reunion for Looking for LaToya is going to be on, which is the show that they always reference to, this show that's within the show. And she, you know, Molly's like taking her shoes off and stuff, and like, you know, I'm pretty tired, I'll pass. And he was like, okay, well, I'll watch it, but I promise I won't, you know, spoil it for you or whatever. Or he can't promise he won't spoil it or something like that. And she's like looking at him like, I know you're not about to watch that without me. Look like he wants to watch it. So then she says something. Oh, so she's like, no, don't watch it without me, you know, we gotta watch it together or whatever. It was like, you know, he was just pretty much like, yeah, okay, do it on your schedule, you know. And he's like really annoyed, and you can tell. And so Molly was like, excuse me, what was that, you know, like trying to see what he said. And he was just like, you know, he pretty much was telling her like, you know, we always got to do things when you want to do it, never can do things when I can. So they kind of go back and forth, and Molly was like, you know, like, he was saying like the thing about, she was asking like, is this thing about your brother? And he was like, yeah, I really wanted you to be there. And then she was like, well, your brother was disrespectful, I didn't want to be there. And so they just go back and forth, and about, you know, pretty much Andrew's like, you know, we always have to do what you want to do, Molly. Like, we never can do what I want to do. Then she's like, you know, you complain when I worked late. Now I turn work events into something you can come to, and you still complaining, and you know, like that. And he was like, you know, pretty much, you know, you always got to bend over backwards. And then she was like, when have you ever bent over backwards for me, and all this. And he was like, all the time. And then she felt like he was holding on to the thing with his brother, but he was just like, just anything I want to do, you never want to do it. And she was just, and he she was saying that like she felt like he was holding on to stuff, holding on to things, and he thought that they were over it. And he was like, you know, Molly, you always hold on to stuff, you know. So they went back and forth, and in the midst of their argument, Kelly calls Molly. She rejects the call. Molly rejects the call, because then the heated conversation, her and Andrew. So then they're still going back and forth, and then Kelly calls Molly again. So she's like, hello, you know, like, what is it? Because, you know, she's just not ready to just talk. So it has to, and you know, when your friends call you multiple times back to back, it has to be an emergency. So she answers it, and basically she tells her that Tiffany's missing. We don't see that, but the next scene we see is Issa and Molly coming into like a theater, a movie theater. No, actually, it wasn't a movie theater. It was Tiffany's home. So Derek's on the phone, talking, trying to, you know, call the theater and ask different people like, have you seen her? Trying to describe Molly to them. Tiffany to them. And so he's not getting anywhere. Like, he tried to call the police. They told him to wait. She's been missing for I think about a day now, maybe almost a day. And yeah, no one, you know, he's not getting anywhere. So anyways, you know, end up going to the theater, the movie theater where Tiffany went to see a movie. So they go there, and pretty much everybody decides to go. Kelly, Molly, Issa, and then they all go with Derek. So they go to the movie theater, and they decide to like kind of split up, but Issa and Molly was like the last ones left right there. And then Issa looked like she wanted to say something kind of referring back to what happened last week, like with their relationship, but Molly was like, you know, I think it's best that we should split up so we can cover more ground. So Issa's like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, fine, like that. So they end up splitting up. Kelly goes and talks to a security guard there to show the picture of Tiffany, and so they come back all together and they get nothing. No one has noticed or seen Tiffany. He started talking about, you know, just about, you know, where they think she could be, where she could have gone. And Derek mentioned that it was a Lyft charge on the account. And then everybody like, man, like, why didn't you say that? Like, that's some important information that would have helped with the search. So he was like, I'm sorry, I mean, it was just for like $6, so I didn't think anything about it. And then they were like, well, okay, so that means she still has to be in this area if she took a Lyft maybe. And so Issa's like, okay, how much was it again? So then they kind of think about it. Then they saw that it was a bar in the theater, so then they're like, okay, they made us see the bar first, and then they showed Tiffany to the bartender. He's like, yeah, I've seen her, and talked about she had 2 margaritas and stuff like that. So then they decided that she has to be in this area, and maybe she went to go get Mexican food or to a Mexican restaurant. So they go to the Mexican restaurant, and then they go to the Mexican restaurant, ask the guy. He said, you know, I haven't seen her. I don't even like working here or whatever. So they're like talking like, we really need to, you know if she's has been here. So then Molly decides, like, do you have any video footage, like a video footage of like the restaurant? So he didn't really want to do it, but they got him to do it. And while they're looking at it, they end up seeing, I think it may have been Kelly noticed Tiffany, and it was Tiffany. So they was like trying to see what was she doing, where was she going. And then so they see that she goes and get on like public transportation, the bus. And so they were like, what is Tiffany doing on a bus? You know, so they kind of like, you know, that's not even her style. So they were like, okay, well, they all run out and they go get on the bus. And then they're like calling, well, Kelly's calling around still. And then Derek is kind of just like sad, because he felt like he's mad at himself because he didn't notice that it was that bad. Like, Tiffany is dealing with postpartum, and he knew that it was like she was tired and the baby was a bit much, so he got her help, and he just didn't know that it was this bad that she had to pretty much disappear and just go away, you know, and not tell anybody, because she turned her phone off. She didn't even tell him when she was coming back. It just no signs of her. So he's kind of hard on himself, like, you know, I don't notice. And I'm glad they put this part in, because a lot of women do deal with this, and with black women, like, we kind of just deal with it and go through with it. We don't really speak out about it. We don't even really ask for help. We kind of just deal with it on top of everything, all the responsibilities we have. And it's just a really depressing moment. And so he was just kind of bad, because he just felt bad because he didn't notice it. He didn't recognize that it had gotten that bad. And it was probably because she was probably kind of suppressing it too. So anyways, so he's just dealing with the guilt. And Issa and Molly are trying to console him and talk to him like, you know, it's okay. And Issa's trying to tell him, like, you know, it's not your fault. We all didn't notice it was that bad. You know, we all could have, like, you know, paid closer attention to her. And then Issa actually says, like, you know, we all we're not perfect. None of us are perfect. We're just trying to figure this all out, which is life, you know what I mean? So so he's just like, you know, okay. So then Molly is like staring at Issa while she's talking, and you could tell Molly is kind of thinking of stuff, like thinking about what Issa was saying. So then Kelly was like on the bus, and she's like, oh, we found her, or whatever. And it was like, she's at the Sheraton. And while she's saying they're at that Tiffany is at the Sheraton, they ride right past it on the bus. So they're trying to convince the bus driver, can you stop the bus? And he's like, no, this is not one of the stops. I'm not stopping. And they're like, please, can you just let us off? We got to get off. And so they're going back and forth with the bus driver, which was pretty funny. And then Kelly was like, and he was like, you know, you got to get behind that line. Don't say nothing to me. And so then she was like looking at the red button, which was the door opener or whatever. And so he was like, you know, you better not touch that. And then Molly was like, I dare you to touch it, go touch it, you know, go push it. So she pushed, so he stops because they were at a red light, so she pushed it and they all run off. So then the bus driver like, Mr. Officer, trying to get the officer to come over there, because, you know. So it was just a lot of commotion after that. They got off the bus, the police got involved, and they're going back and forth, and they like, you know, don't talk to us, why you not talking to the white couple? Because a white couple got off the bus and said that Kelly was harassing the bus driver. So they were like, you know, don't talk to us, why are you not talking to them? Is it because we're black? So that police officer like, you know what, I'm not getting involved with that. Like, he didn't even want to deal with it. So that was that. And so they ran to the Sheraton and they got the information, and they ran to the room that Tiffany was at. So Derek knocks on the door. It took Tiffany a moment to answer, and when she finally opened the door, she was like, you know, he was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, she felt sorry, you know, that she didn't tell them what was going on with her, and they just embraced each other, and they cried, and she cried, and you could tell Tiffany wasn't like her glamorous self. Like when she came to the door, she was like in a shower. I mean, looked like she had just taken a shower and she was with a towel, but like she wasn't herself. Like she always like glamorous, you know, nails, everything done, and this was like all natural, and you could tell that she was just breaking down. So that ended with that, and then pretty much now you see everybody go back home. First, like Molly goes back home to talk to Andrew. They kind of finish up their conversation. She's tired, and she like really wants to talk about what happened with them, and so they get to talking about what happened in the relationship. And basically Andrew tells her that like he's been feeling some type of way for a while, and he don't think that they're good for each other. And she's like, no, you know, I'll go to counseling, what do you want me to do? She's just like willing to do whatever. And he was like, you know, is this what you really want? Is it what, like, he pretty much asked her like, what are you fighting for? And she couldn't answer. And I think that Molly was only fighting for, not to say she didn't love, I mean, she wasn't into Andrew or not, because, you know, they have fun together. But I think that Molly, all her relationships have like ended quick. She can't keep a man for nothing. So I think she was fighting to keep a relationship. You know, and the fact that she was giving him so many chances, you know, not giving him chances, but like willing to fight for him, but wouldn't fight for Issa, your long-term friend, was kind of messed up in my eye. But it was like, pretty much, you got issues, Molly. You have to deal with it. And he was like not here for it. And so he broke up with her. And then Issa, she's trying to, you know, unwind or whatever like that. And Lawrence comes over and, you know, give her a kiss, and she's tired, and, you know, because they've been up all night looking for Tiffany, and so he's looking like something's wrong with him. And so they're talking, and he told her that, you know, Condola came over, so she's looking like, okay, and you know what's going on or whatever. Hey, so sorry, my camera was overheating, so I couldn't finish the video, and so I'm just gonna try to complete the video right now. So I think I made a left off on the part when Lawrence came to Issa's apartment, and she was talking about her night and about how it was, and she was tired, and then she could tell something was going on, something was wrong with Lawrence. So she asked him, like, you know, is everything okay? And then he told her that he talked to Condola, and so she was like, you know, what's going on? So she looking like, what, y'all getting back together or something? Like, what's going on? And she thought like they were done. And so he was like, no. Then he dropped the bomb on her, which this is what I knew this was coming. I thought it was going to happen last episode, but it didn't. So I knew this was happening, but he let her know that Condola is pregnant. So, so what the scenes, they kind of like flip-flop back and forth and like with different responses. Like he was like, you know, this is not what I want. Then it was like him, and you got a chance to see him and Condola talking about it. Then it flips back to her Lawrence and Issa talking, and it's kind of like they're finishing off their responses. So Lawrence didn't want to move forward with the baby at all. He's like, it's not what he want right now. And Condola was like, you know, I want it. And I guess apparently Condola was pregnant before, and either they lost the baby, got rid of the baby, not with Lawrence, but with her ex-husband. But she says she's ready now for a baby. So so they were going back and forth, and she told him that he don't have to be active. He can just do what he want, you know, but she's keeping the baby. And so then Issa was like mad. Like Issa was mad about it. And he was like, this was before we got back together. Before all of this, like it was, you know, it wasn't, you know, he didn't know it was going to happen. So Issa was kind of like, you know, just like leave me alone pretty much. And she was really mad. And so I don't know, because it ended like that. So I'm not sure if Lawrence is going to go ahead and still take that job now that he has a baby on the way. I don't know if him and Condola going to take a chance and get back together, because I don't think that's going to happen, because Lawrence told Issa that I want to be with you. I want to be with you. So I don't know what's going to happen. Insecure has been approved for another season, so they'll be back. How long we gotta wait, child? I don't even know, but I can't wait until it comes back on. So I'm just gonna leave a question with you guys. Like, do y'all think that Issa was overreacting when she found out that Lawrence has a baby on the way? Like, do you think she... Like, I know initially you'll be mad, but do you think she is mad enough to just end the relationship? Like, this pregnancy happened before they got back together. So what do you guys think? Drop your opinion in the comments and let me know how you feel about this. Because I know that Issa wanted, you know, in her mind, like back some seasons, she had this vision of her and Lawrence getting married and having a kid. So now her kid won't be the first kid that Lawrence had. But I don't know. Like, personally, I feel like she shouldn't have overreacted. I feel like, yes, initially you'll be mad, but not enough to end the relationship. You wasn't even in the picture, so what are you mad for? You know, but I think maybe it's a chance that she thinking that him and Condola gonna get back together, because if he's gonna be involved with the child, that's a chance them rekindling their relationship and getting back together. So she may lose Lawrence, which Lawrence is what makes her happy, which she said in this episode early on. So I really don't know what's gonna happen. I feel like Lawrence is gonna, he seems to be a stand-up guy, like he's gonna be involved. So you guys drop your comments on what you think that what's gonna happen. Let me know what, okay, so I want you to let me know, do you think that Issa was wrong for overreacting when she found out the information? And do you think it's enough for her to end the relationship with Lawrence because of this? And then also I want to know, you guys, what is your prediction? What do you think will happen in the next season with Lawrence and Issa? All right. Talk to you later, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later. Bye.